I wanted a laptop that was portable enough to carry around with me to do 4K editing, and I didn't want it to be a Mac. So I decided on the XPS 15, was very excited to order it. But within the first few days, there was some weird stuttering and sort of lockups really while I was doing any kind of 4K editing on it. And even sometimes when just browsing Chrome, it would lock up. Now, one of the first things I did was to reinstall Windows, and this did seem to help, but it was never really as fast and as fluid as I wanted it to be, and I ended up returning it. Now, I've actually been thinking about going over to the dark side and getting a MacBook Pro, because there really didn't seem to be any kind of solution waiting for me in the wings until I tried a brand that I would never really think of trying, really. A gamer brand called MSI. Boom! Meet the GS. This is a 17-inch version and a 15.6-inch version, which is 73 and 63. And there's an array of budget here, from 1080 screens to 4K screens. You can have a GTX 1060, a 1070. So let's just give this one a little bit of a rundown. So this is the GS63 7RG Stealth Pro. When I got it, the first thing I did was take no chances, and I did a completely fresh install of Windows, depending on your configuration. But I have a 256 gig SSD, which is where I put Windows, and then a 1 terabyte hard drive, which is where I put all the data, and that seems to work quite nicely. You can have 4K screen, you can have 1080, that's absolutely fine, whatever you decide. 120 Hz screen if you want it, if you're into your games. 17.7 millimeters and weighing in at 1.9 kilos. It's true color, 100% sRGB. VR ready, if that's your thing. Gorilla Glass. You'll have 7th gen i7 7700 HQ processor in there. Gen 3 SSDs. DDR4 2400 memory. Dynamic temperature performance balancing. You have your Thunderbolt port, obviously. 4K screen if you want it. Audio. High-res audio. RGB gaming keyboard, which is very nice. Silver lining print. Killer. Double Shot Pro. And there you have it. So why are we going to all this trouble to look at this? Well, it really is quite simple, guys. This is the best laptop I've ever used, and there's been a few. It absolutely destroys the XPS 15 in every way you can possibly imagine. It just feels so much better. I really wish I'd have just brought this before. And as for processing, my main machine is a 6th gen i7 desktop 32 gigs of RAM, and I set about editing a 4K file. I started both at exactly the same time, and the laptop finished 45 seconds later than the desktop. Now, that is incredible. The XPS 15 was almost 50% slower than the desktop, so seriously, it's impressive. Now, I really think that if you're in the market for a Windows machine and you're running Premiere Pro, the MSI GS63 really needs to be top of your list. I prefer it over the Blade. I prefer it over the XPS 15. It's just a better product all round. The build, the keyboard, the touchpad, the screen, the noise of the fans even is just much more melodic to the ears. So if you were thinking about the XPS 15, click off that website, because this is your guy. You don't even have to get the 1070. You can just pick and choose whatever model suits what you're doing. If it's 4K editing, grab a 1050 Ti. If you're doing the most hardcore games in the world, go all the way, but there'll be one here for your budget. There you have it. This is my new go-to laptop for 4K editing, and as usual, it's been emotional.